It's a little after 8:30, and as the name suggests, it's time for South Africa's #1 news show, not the 8:45 news. And please beware of cheap imitations on other radio stations.
Featuring reports from our international team of journalists, including those based in Nobukwe, Nokwane, Nokomis, Noldik, Nondweni, Nongoma, Nomaranjana, Nolan, Northam, Northway, Norwood, and Isenembe.
And presented as usual by the men that women love to hate, myself, Vikash Mathura.
And Ray Maharaj. Good morning.
Good morning. But first, as usual, a word from our chief sponsors for the morning news.
Kakuri.
And it's on to our top story. Breaking news from the United States. It's reported that 55 whales have beached themselves on the shores of the Florida Keys. I beg your pardon. We have an update on the story from our reporter who says that officials have now confirmed that only 54 whales washed ashore. They would also like to apologize to Kathy Bates, who was sunbathing at the time.
In Holland, a man has claimed that he has spent the last 11 years eating only pigeon food. He says he's never felt better and healthier. His wife, however, is not so pleased since he keeps messing on the windscreen. And we'll be back after a visit to the marketplace.
Dhanya Karela Methi Bhaji. Bring your Aja and your Aji. Tomatoes, potatoes and half-ripe berries available only at quarter price from Harry's. And this week's specials, everybody, if you come by my stall in Clearwood Market, we got Cricket World Cup items at highly discounted prices at my stall this weekend only. That's right. Puppets and costumes from the official opening ceremony will be auctioned today at 1 o'clock. That's right, that's 1 hour after 12 o'clock. You can put it in your front lawn to prevent the neighbor's dogs from messing on your lawn. Why use 2-liter bottles? Also, Indian cricket team posters free to all pet owners. That's right. You can now potty drain your dogs on the posters of the Indian cricket team. Why waste newspaper? But beware, limited posters only. We're only giving 200 minimum per customer while the stocks last. Indian cricket team jerseys free with every 1 kg of Gravy Soakers up-to-date potatoes that you buy. And for all disappointed fans, my next-door stall neighbor Bushknife Krish and I are having a bride tonight, and we are giving free drinks too. Enter our competition. Who can drink more than Percy Son? We got big prizes to be won. I won last 3 years. Now I'm disqualified from taking part. So don't forget, everybody. Dhanya Karela Methi Bhaji. Bring your Aja and your Aji.
We're back.
News from Iraq next. Iraqi television has managed to stay on the air despite the damage caused in the recent bombings. They have virtually no resources left and no programs to put on. Almost just like the SABC.
According to the Journal of Psychomatic Medicine, the more female friends a male has, the less likely you are to have a heart attack. That's the good news. When former U.S. President Bill Clinton heard the news, he was overjoyed.
Yippee. Now I'm sure I'll see at least 120 years.
However, if your wife catches you with one of your female friends, your chances of an attack quadruple. That's the bad news. And we'll be back after this commercial break.
Vanakkam, everybody. Uncle Bala here. You know, old age is very difficult. So difficult. Your memory starts to fail you. First you forget people's names, then you forget faces, then you forget to put your zip down, then you forget to put your zip up.
But help is here at last. Harry's vitamin M tablets. That's right, M4 memory tablets will help you cope. Available at a pharmacy near you.
You have an uncle in the vitamin business. Hira mama, hira mama.
We're back.
The Oscar Awards evening was held earlier this week in Hollywood, and the event turned out to be very subdued. A little-known fact concerning the Oscars is that the awardees have to give the Oscar back for their name to be inscribed on it. They give it to you, and they take it back. and later they return it to you. At least that's the story they said to Michael Moore.
And finally, next week, Europe is expected to experience one of the biggest meteor showers in history, according to experts. People in France are apparently very excited about the event and are asking,
Excuse-moi, but monsieur, what is a shower?
And that's the end of the news for this week.
so until next Saturday,
Or the 5th of April.
whichever comes first,
It's goodbye.
Bon voyage.
Oh, sorry. Hey! Hey, hey, hey. Hey, hey. Hey. Harry, who's here, Mama?
well, good morning and namaskar, Professor.
Namaskar, Mr. A.
And how are you this morning?
I am very well, thank you, Mr. A. How are you this fine morning?
I'm brilliant. And how's the baby doing?
Well, he is learning to tell few more words.
Is
I've
he?
been trying to teach him to say the word daddy.
And is he in the studios at the moment?
That is what is said.
Okay,
He's
let's-
sitting right here next to me because I've got him on very early in the morning.
Right, this is marvelous. I mean, listeners can hear a father trying to teach his, 3-month-old son to speak. This is absolutely marvelous radio.
That is what is said.
Let's hear what he has to say, Professor.
हाँ एक मिनट मिस्टर सिपो जूनियर बोल डैडी डैडी यानी के पापा पापा यानी के पिताजी पिताजी डैडी शो सिपो शो 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 हाय सिपो चुप चुप कुत्ता कौन बाहर लाया हो कुत्ता कौन बाहर लाया हो I must apologize, Mr. A.
He can't get the word right.
No, he got the word right.
Uh-huh.
He's kind of descriptive about what he just made on the couch.
Professor, the word for today, and I'm not going to pronounce this for you at this stage, right? The word, it's in fact two words. The first word is H-I-C. The second word is J-A-C-E-T. Because you're the expert, and I'm positive that you'll be able to pronounce it correctly as well. H-I-C, and the second word, J-A-C-E-T.
That is quite an interesting word, Mr. A.
Yes, very unusual. I haven't seen this particular word before.
Matter of fact, it is two words.
I haven't seen those words before.
The hick jacket.
Continue.
And the two words combined is a
Uh-huh.
kind of phrase, you see.
Uh-huh.
It is a matter of fact, a noun.
Yeah.
Now the words originated in this valley,
Uh-huh.
but it kind of originated back in the day when Rai Pupa and Manya Phua in Crafty and Chatsworth were carting.
Continue.
And what used to happen was Rai Pupa, whenever he had one too many beers, he kind of got what you call hitchcap.
Hiccups?
Hiccup, that is what is said.
Right.
But as you know, if you kind of consume too much of beer, and if you start to get hiccups, you could end up in a slightly embarrassing situation where you can kind of vomit some of the food you've intaken.
Uh-huh.
So as a result, Rai Pupai was given a kind of jacket by Manyapua for his birthday.
Yeah.
And this particular jacket was not an ordinary jacket. That jacket was made of a synthetic kind of polyurethane fiber that resulted in anything that it attracted to be washed away simultaneously. So if you had to accidentally vomit on your jacket, the vomit would just roll over until it hit the floor.
It's like a Scotch guard.
That is what is said.
Right.
That is what is said. Now the hick jacket, as it became known to be called, is for people who used to have hiccup problems and who used to kind of vomit out food that would be lying there in the large intestine. And that particular hick jacket became popular in places like shebeens, etc. For people who overconsumed.
This is truly an amazing story because I haven't heard anything as bizarre and as ridiculous as this in all my life.
What can I say, Mr. A?
Yeah.
You are only 40-something.
I beg your pardon?
Your age, man.
Oh, I beg your
You are 40-something.
That is true, yes.
And I am 58. So naturally, I've got approximately 15 years experience. It's slightly more than you.
Okay, but just to get back to the word, the correct pronunciation of Hickjacet.
Hick jacket.
No, it's in fact Hickjacet. Hickjacet.
That is what is said.
It's not jacket, it's jacket.
And that is why yak, jack, is same thing.
Hickjacet, and the word exists in the ordinary and dictionaries. It's a relatively common word. It's just unfortunate that we haven't heard the word before. But it is in fact an epitaph. Now, do you know when you look at a tombstone and you find the words, here lies, etc., etc., tombstones or epitaphs that have here lies so-and-so, etc., that is a hickjacet.
Well, Mr. A, the word was probably used or copied for this particular purpose as you so simplistically described it. Probably for people who never had a hick jacket and who died of alcohol poisoning.
Overconsumption.
That is what is said. That is what is said.
Well, probably. And I believe that you wanted to share some of your war experiences with us today, Professor.
Well, in matter of fact, quite an interesting thing that you mentioned it.
Not so much your war training, but more your army training.
That is what is said. As you know, there is there is current war on Iraq. And the United States of America are the ones involved on these strikes.
Yeah.
And I can recall with vivid details the time when I was in army. And I was in this army and I met an American general because I was I was general in Indian army. And I was attending a conference in Russia at the time. And there was American general and German general. And I was there representing India. And American general said to us, he said, see how brave my particular soldiers are. And what he did was he called a soldier and he said to him, please, we were on a ship at this particular time heading for Russia. And he told the soldiers, the American soldier, he said, jump out of the ship and take a round around the ship of swimming. And make sure you do it right now when the waters was icy cold.
Yes, there would be, yeah.
And the American soldier said to the American general, he said, yes, sir, and he jumped into the ice-cold waters and he started to swim around the ship. And at that particular time, the American general said to us, he said, see, you see the guts? Do you see his bravery? And of course, we were most impressed. And then the German general came up and he called one of his soldiers. And he said to him, he said, I want you to do the same thing as American soldier. But I want you to swim backwards in the icy cold water. And the soldier said, yes, sir. And the German general said to us, he said, see, can you see his guts? Can you see his bravery? And of course, I was sitting there wondering what to do next. because there was Indian credibility at stake.
Absolutely, and you wanted to show how much of a Bahadur nation you are.
That is what I said.
Right.
But Indians don't eat steak.
Yes, they don't.
So I said, Havaldar.
Yeah.
And along he came.
Uh-huh.
And I said, jump into the water.
Uh-huh.
I want you to swim 5 similar rounds backwards.
5 times in the freezing water.
That is what I said.
Right.
And the Havaldar looked at me and he said, hey, what do you think? I'm your father's servant.
Uh-huh.
And I didn't know what to say. I looked at American and German general and I said, see, you see his guts. You see his bravery. What a thing.
What an experience. Was this
What
when they sent you back to South Africa?
That is what I said.
Right.
They made me swim backwards all the way to Cape Town.
Tell me, Professor, is the baby still troubling? Is he,
Well, he's kind of sitting here rather quiet, Mr. A.
Okay, let's try one more time to get him to say daddy.
Sipo, bol, daddy. Daddy, bol, Sipo, bol, daddy. I told his mummy
Yes.
not to feed him mango in the morning. But a naughty boy. Naughty boy.
Namaskar, Professor.
Namaskar, Mr. A.
Got sugar.
Yes,
And I
yes.
can't eat anything now.
Right. Yeah, you got to look after your health, Uncle Peru.
Right.
Yeah, well, whoa. This is surprising. Uncle Bala, good morning, Uncle Bala.
Vanakkam, Vikash, how are you?
I'm very well, thank you. Nice to see you here.
Good to be here also. Vanakkam, Peru.
What happened by your house now?
Hey, same thing.
Yeah, I want-
Dragons left us.
Yeah, stupid question I'm asking, like I don't know the reason.
But nice to ask, you know?
You know what happened? The reason Padma is not here today.
What happened?
You see, she was learning music because they go to senior citizens.
Nah, nice to go, you know?
Right, so she was going for music lessons and she decided that she wanted to play violin.
Oh.
Now for 2 weeks now she's learning to play violin.
My one also learning to play violin because she said she's born in the month of May, you know?
You know, what they've got to do with violin?
She want to be like Vanessa May.
Now, she's learning to play violin. She can't play. She's, what's age, 67 now. She's playing kind. Right, what happened? Egypt started howling.
What she's playing?
Kind on the violin. Now the dog started howling. How that dog will howl now if I'm making kind?
Yeah.
I'll make violin sound, you make howling sound.
Okay.
Make howling sound. I said, Padma, for heaven's sake, play something the dog doesn't know. We had such a big fight about that. She's leaving the house.
Yeah, but I heard
She's
that
leaving the house.
I heard the 2 misses are gone in the aeroplane.
That's why I'm telling you. We had a big fight because she wanted to play violin. The dog is singing with her. How much we can take that nonsense? I said, Padma, just get out of the house.
Now, I came in the bus in the morning, right?
Right.
Now, I'm thinking Sawas is gonna come.
Right.
She's not by the house. I heard after that, Hilda told me.
Right.
They went to in the airport last night.
Yeah, in fact.
1 o'clock morning flight they took, they went to India.
I went with Padma to the airport. Because she was so upset with me. She said she's just going for 2 months to India.
Yeah.
And she wants to go to the prayer places. She wants to go shopping, anything. So I took a taxi with her. We went to the airport.
Nice to go in the taxi, you know?
Right. So Padma's telling me about the airport now. She said, Peru, I just wish we should have brought our fridge with us.
Yeah. Why the fridge?
Yeah, I said, Fatma, it's a very stupid thing to say.
Yeah.
Because who takes a fridge to the airport now?
Right.
She said, I said, why, darling? Why? You don't go, please.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm just telling, just to make her happy.
Right.
I said, but why you said you didn't bring the fridge?
Right.
She said, because I left the plane ticket on it.
When they coming back, Peru, the dragons?
She said when she feels better.
Oh, you...
I said, take your time, darling.
Yeah. You know what I think you and I must do, Peru?
What we must do, ma?
I think we must not, nice for you to ask, I think we must not allow them to come back on the radio. Let them stay and make breakfast for us Sunday morning. Our age, how old we now?
We're 72 now.
Now, how difficult it is to wake up in the morning and not have food to eat.
That's true. I'm going to go to Gonosegri's house.
I'm going to go Ilda's house.
Right. Now, I was at the airport now.
Yeah?
Tubby was coming from Bombay.
Tubby Lakan.
Tubby Lakan from La Messi was there.
That so-called tipster.
He's tipster. Now, he's coming, he's crying.
I heard...
He's coming from India, he's crying.
Why he's crying?
You tell me your story first.
No, I heard he was... he's a bookmaker, is it?
Yeah.
I heard he's taking his tips from Banjo.
Tubby was crying. I thought maybe he's so happy because he's seeing his family again. He's crying.
Why he's crying?
He said he lost all his luggage.
Oh, not nice like that, Pedro.
I said, not nice like that. I said, let's go to the desk and you can tell that uncle there what happened to your luggage.
Yeah.
And he went by the desk and the man said, what is wrong, uncle? Why are you crying like this?
Nice to ask.
And Tubby said, I lost all my luggage.
Oh,
and the man said, how did that happen? He said, no, the cork fell out of my bottle. Everything spilled out. He had nothing to drink all trip.
Okay, Peru, before I go, I got one question to ask.
Right.
And Nine Boy told me this riddle yesterday.
Right.
What you call an Indian man with one leg?
Balancing. Vanakkam.
Okay, vanakkam.
Up and have a meal with us, have a few drinks.
Has Naresh been having a difficult week?
It's been having a difficult week.
I tell you what, let's chat with Naresh in the last hour of the show.
So we'll try that. So my daughter, she's 20. She walks up to Naresh and says,
Naresh, uncle, my daddy said you're a fairy. Show me a magic wand.
Yeah.
Let's go do some music before we get fired.
There you go. There goes your salary increase.
Yeah.
9 o'clock, we'll be back with Vikash and Chetty wrapping up the local and international happenings. It's the weekend liftoff with Ray Maharaj in Durban.
And Vikash in Johannesburg. But Vikash, Fiddle on the Roof.
Oh, man, I thought...
No. Do you remember the song? If I were a rich man...
If I were a rich man, do.
That's the one. That's the song from the musical.
Yeah,
Fiddle on the Roof.
Never heard of it.
Let's go to some music.
It's the music.
Hello, hi, mamo, sky tode lamo. I love you, Bama, odi pogalama. Hello, hi, mamo, sky tode lamo. I love you, Bama, odi pogalama. Vana mumbumi yundan ummayana dostu, baby. Let's do it, baby.
ரெக்கைகள் இல்லாமல் வானம் தாண்டி போவோமே விண்மீனை வீலை பேசி வாங்கவே வாவா நட்பாலி கடலை 4 ஊரை கடந்து தேசத்தின் எல்லைகளை தகர்ப்போமே வா.
Hello, hi, mama. Sky தொடலாமா? I love you, mama. ஓடி போகலாமா? கல்லூரிய கண்டுபிடிச்சது யாரு? கண்டுபிடி நாம சிலை ஒண்ணு வைப்போம். காதலையும் தவறா சொன்னதாரு? கண்டுபிடி நாம சிறை வைப்போமே.
வயசு மீறி ஒரு வாழ்க்கை தேவையில்லை வசந்தம் தேடி வரும் வா 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 வா. பரிசு போட்டுக்குள்ள வீண அடிச்சு வச்ச பாட்டு பாடாது போ.
வாழ்க்கை தீரும் முன்னே வாழ வேண்டும் இல்ல பருவ செலவும் இல்லை போ 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 போ. இன்பம் துன்பம் வேண்டும் இங்கே நினைப்பதில்லை இளைய உள்ளவரை வா.
இன்று மட்டும் உண்மை நாளை கூட இல்லை. நட்பு ஒன்றே போதும் தேவை ஒன்றும் இல்லை.
சந்தோஷம் நம்மை தேடுமே.
Lotus FM.
In a world of propaganda and pandemonium,
Our goal is to defend the American people and to eliminate Iraq's weapons of mass destruction.
in a world of turmoil and treachery,
They are a superpower of villains, really.
Lotus FM News keeping you in touch wherever you are. Good morning. Baghdad has been shaken by yet another massive airstrike. The latest mammoth air raids are pounding the outskirts of Baghdad. The elite Iraqi Republican Guard are encamped on the outskirts of the city. The BBC's Paul Wood reports.
It's being blamed by local people on an American cruise missile, although whether the coalition was indeed responsible remains the crucial unanswered question. Whatever the truth, though, throughout the Middle East, people are looking at pictures broadcast on Arabic satellite channels of dead and injured Iraqis and believing this to be the work of the United States. Children have been shown in agony with blood-soaked bandages on their heads and faces. In the hospital corridors, wailing women are seen prostrate with grief.
Meanwhile, U.S. commanders have ordered a pause of 4 to 6 days in a northward push towards Baghdad because of supply shortages and stiff Iraqi resistance. U.S. military officers say the operational pause meant that advances would be put on hold while the military tried to sort out logistic problems in Kuwait. However, the U.S.-led invasion force would continue to attack Iraqi forces to the north with heavy airstrikes during the pause. There are fears that the war could spread from Iraq to neighboring countries like Syria after the U.S. warned that country not to allow military equipment to be smuggled into Iraq. Washington has accused Syria of allowing night vision goggles and other equipment to be taken into Iraq. U.S. Defense Secretary Donald Rumsfeld.
We have information that shipments of military supplies have been crossing the border from Syria into Iraq, including night vision goggles. These deliveries pose a direct threat to the lives of coalition forces. We consider such trafficking as hostile acts.
Meanwhile, Syria's ambassador to the UN, Mikhail Weber, says the U.S. is looking for scapegoats.
To cover the killing of the innocent and the civilians in hundreds in Baghdad and Al-Basra and Al-Mosul and everywhere around.
And staying with the story, the 22 South African human shields have arrived safely in Jordan. Our reporter Anita Fisser says they arrived in Amman at approximately 3 a.m. South African time.
The leader of the South Africans, A.B. Dalji, who described their mission as very successful, said the journey between Baghdad and the Jordanian-Iraqi border had been extremely hazardous and added that the South Africans had to at one stage negotiate the safe onward journey with Australian coalition forces. The South Africans are flying to Johannesburg via Cairo on Monday evening.
Back home, motorists are in for another petrol price increase on Wednesday. The prices will come into effect under a new fuel pricing system that excludes transport tariff increases. According to the Department of Energy, the petrol price will rise by 5 cents a litre. Diesel with a sulfur content of 0.3% will cost 20 cents a litre more, and diesel with 0.05% sulfur will cost you 25 cents more. The price of illuminating paraffin will go up by 8 cents a litre. That's a wrap of the news at 9. Our top story this hour: Baghdad is being shaken by yet another massive airstrike. For Lotus FM News, I'm Vibakshini Chetty. I'll be back with more news at 11. In a world of propaganda and pandemonium,
our goal is to defend the American people and to eliminate Iraq's weapons of mass destruction.
In a world of turmoil and treachery,
They are a superpower of villains, really.
Lotus FM News, keeping you in touch wherever you are. We have a few...
Fourteen and a half minutes past the hour. Let's say good morning to Uncle Peru in Durban. Good morning, Uncle Peru.
Vanakkam, Vikash. How are you, ma?
Vanakkam, Uncle Peru. I'm very well, thank you. You sound as usual in the best of spirits this morning.
No, I'm sober now,
You're sober.
I'm sober now, yeah.
Right. let me welcome Uncle Bala into the Johannesburg studio. Yeah, you can just take the microphone around there.
Vanakkam, Peru.
Vanakkam, Bala. How are you, ma?
I'm alright, can't complain.
I'm telling you, because I'm not in good spirits. I'm sober now.
Yeah.
Because in last night, I was late out with the boys.
Don't tell me.
I finished at 6 o'clock in the morning.
6 o'clock in the morning?
I was tanana. I went by the house, right?
Yeah.
The liquor was smelling on me, right?
Right.
And lipstick marks on my collar, on my face and everything.
Right.
I went by the house, I thought about my sleeping.
Right.
Oh, she was waiting by the kitchen door for me.
But your dragon won't sleep.
She'll never sleep if I'm not by the house, man.
Right, yeah.
She said, I assume, Peru, what was she using?
She said,
I assume that there's a very good reason for you coming home 6 o'clock in the morning.
But nice to assume, you know?
Nice to ask.
Nice to ask first.
She said, what is your reason for coming home 6 o'clock in the morning?
Nice to ask, eh?
I said, breakfast, darling. Didn't eat nothing today, eh?
Yeah.
I didn't eat nothing today. She didn't give breakfast.
Now, you know my good friend here in Randburg, right?
Who's there?
He and I are so close. We can't live with each other, without each other. You know, like how you and I have association.
Right.
He too and I got association. Can't stay 1 minute of the day, you know?
Who's that now?
I don't know. What is his name?
Madan.
Madan. Now, Madan, he's dating one 25-year-old girl.
Madan is about 85.
Madan is 82, Peru.
Oh, right.
But he's dating one 25-year-old girl.
Yeah, but he got the body of 81-year-old.
Yeah.
Oh,
he keeps himself very well.
Very fit.
So I met him yesterday by the Shibaks, you know?
Right.
Prem's Tavern. And I told him, I said, what's his name?
Madan.
That's what I said. Madan.
That's what you said.
Yeah. How come you got a lovely girl like that? She's 25 years old.
Right.
To marry a 82-year-old man like you.
Right.
What do you think Madan reckon?
What she said?
Madan reckon was easy, Bala. I told her I was 90 years old and had heart trouble. Oh, that one married him for his insurance policies, man.
Oh, hey, the young women are like that, eh?
Yeah, but now she don't know. Madan haven't got a Tom. You know what I mean?
Right. Now, you know, after I came home drunk last night.
Yeah.
And put most of the lipstick on my shirt. She's now going gym.
Oh, who's
old
Jim?
Oh, no, not who's Jim.
Ah.
Yeah, I don't know who owns the gym.
Right.
But she's going to the gym now. How old is Padma?
Padma is, your dragon is old, man. She's terrible. That one over the
67.
hill.
She's 67.
Hey, but she looked like she's 75, Peru.
Yeah, she looks young for her age. Now she's telling me because I'm going with other women's now, she wants to go by the gym.
Right.
Now, interfere, she went by the gym the other day. And she wants to do everything, all the exercises. She wants to be very fit and very young.
Nice to be fit, Peru.
Right, now she's telling the gym instructor what is the most difficult exercise to do. Then the gym instructor said, Auntie, the most difficult thing to do is the splits.
The splits?
Splits is the most difficult exercise to do.
Right.
She said, well, I want to do it. He says, so he asked her, okay, Auntie, you want to do the splits nice like that?
Nice to ask.
He said, okay, but how flexible are you?
Right.
She said, Uncle, I can't make Tuesdays and weekends. I do it other days, all right.
You know, fathers and their daughters, how close they are, Peru?
Yeah, like very close.
What's your daughter's name?
Kanta.
Kanta.
Yeah.
Right. Now, Kanta is, she and you are close to, you know?
She's like the son I never had.
Yeah. Now, me and my daughter, we can't stay without each other, you know?
Right.
What's my daughter's name?
Your daughter's name? Sundri.
Sundri. Hey, I got a daughter called Sundri.
A nickname.
Oh, right, yeah. Now, Sundri, the other day, Sundri, Sami plays some funny games sometimes, you know?
Right.
Everybody can't be good looking, right? Now, Sundri thinks now because her mother looked like a dragon and because her father is good looking, then she should at least have her father's good looks, you know?
Right.
So anyway, after we shave Sundri's beard off, Sundri came, I was having like a art, you know?
Right.
And she was saying, Dada, how come I can't find any men to marry me?
Right.
I told her.
Nice to ask.
Nice to ask, you know? I told her, Sundri, ignore all the boys in the road in the district, you know?
Right.
You must go marry a soldier.
Soldier, ma?
Yeah.
Why?
Because they can cook, they can make beds, they can sew, and they're already used to taking orders.
That's true, eh?
Yeah.
I must tell you.
Sundri is gone now.
She went.
Iraq.
She went to Iraq, right. I must tell you about the Pandit that we got in our district.
Oh, yeah. What is his name?
They call him Maharaj.
Well, no, nice like that.
Not that other Maharaj. This is another Maharaj.
Not Shane.
Not Shane.
Yeah.
Now, in the peers, he left India in 1930.
Right.
He was telling me the story now. He's a very rich priest, this now. In the peers, he left India in 1930. And he ran to South Africa now.
Right.
Now, but when he came here, he had a problem with the customs.
Don't tell me.
Indian people have problems with the customs now. Because the customs officer found 5 sets of gold teeth, false teeth in his bag.
Don't tell.
5 sets, yeah.
Tell.
Now, the customs man is asking, but how can you explain 5 sets of false gold teeth?
Yeah, nice for them to ask.
Nice
you
to
know?
ask. So the Maharaj said, no, see, sir, he said, we Hindu people have, he said, I'm a vegetarian, he said.
Right.
He said, but when I eat food, then sometimes I eat with salt food, and sometimes I eat with food with no salt.
Right.
So I must use separate false teeth for that now.
Yeah.
Separate.
Yeah.
Right. Right, okay, customs official said, all right, okay, that's 2 sets of teeth, it's fur. It's fur, you should say that.
Fair to
What about the other 3 sets? He said, you see, I'm vegetarian. I'm a very religious man. Now, I can't use the same set of false teeth for auspicious days. Now, auspicious days we make special type of food.
Like how you can't cook in the meat pots and all that.
Right, but you see, I'm vegetarian, he said.
Right.
So on special days, like let's say Diwali, then I must have one false teeth now for salted food and one for unsalted food.
It's a long story, Pero.
No, only one set teeth left. Right, now the customs official said, you must be a very religious man to have separate teeth for separate things.
Nice to say, you know.
Right, because he's vegetarian, salted, unsalted, religious days, vegetables, salted, unsalted. He said, all right, I can accept that. I'll make notes in this book. But what about the fifth set? The Pandit said, well, just to tell you the truth, once in a while, I like to eat a little bit of mutton curry.
What a thing, man.
They didn't allow him, eh? They didn't allow him. They took away his vegetarian false teeth.
I went to the doctor yesterday with my dragon.
What's wrong with him, huh?
Hey,
bad news or good news?
No, it's bad news, man.
Very bad, man?
Yeah, no, this time
Serious?
It's terrible. She's 72 now, eh?
Very bad news.
No, man.
Eh?
They said she'll
What you
survive.
said, ma? Don't get worried. Don't cry, ma.
Yeah.
What they said?
They said she'll survive. Not nice. I went back. Sowers was having problem, you know?
Right.
She said she wasn't feeling too good, you know?
Right.
So I took her by the doctor. He examined her.
Yeah.
He told her, Auntie Sowers and Uncle Bala, I've got good news and I've got bad news. I thought dawa.
Finished for her.
I thought dawa in my mind now.
Insurance money, everything
I'm
you're thinking about.
Insurance money. Hey, she reckon, okay,
Thinking about Ilda.
Ilda, oh, Ilda. Oh. I reckon, doctor, what's the good news?
Right. Nice to ask.
Nice to ask.
Nice to ask.
He reckon Uncle Bala, the good news is that Auntie Sowers thought that she was suffering from PMS.
Oh, right.
He reckon,
That's the good news.
No, he reckon the good news that she's not suffering from PMS.
She's not suffering, right?
Yeah, because she's having mood swings and all, you know?
Right.
So her head was paining and she was getting backaches and she was, she starts snapping at me at the home. You can't talk to her, you know?
Right.
Angry she gets. So she thought she had PMS. She went, but the doctor.
What's the difference? What's the difference now between a pit bull terrier and a woman with PMS? Lipstick.
So doctor reckon good news she haven't got PMS.
Oh, good news that.
Yeah, I reckon doctor, what's the bad news? He reckon the bad news is that she's naturally like that. Not gonna change. Ayo, I'm gonna tell
So hard for you, eh?
Yeah. But you know what they tell you?
What they say?
If you really love something,
let it free.
Let it go.
Let it go, yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
If it comes back to you,
then you know it was yours.
No. If it comes back to you, if you love something, let it go.
Right.
If it comes back to you, chain it to the pipe in the basement because you don't want to take another one chance like that.
I was talking to Naresh Viren yesterday because he came, asked us to sign contract for another year.
Yeah, see the paper, like Naresh, eh?
Yeah, they like to put his photo picture every
Yeah,
weekday.
he's so lucky.
So I asked Naresh now, what, ideas you got for us to improve our show?
Yeah.
Some suggestions or anything.
Yeah.
How in the 2 o'clock, 5 o'clock when I left, you were still talking. I'm not sure if he's not too happy.
Yeah.
In case, I'll see you next week then.
Any case, Pedro, I'll see you next week then.
Vanakkam, eh?
Okay, vanakkam, Pedro.
Dolia? Hey, Dolia?
The most intellectual part of the show.
Dolia? Dolia? तू कहाँ पे मर गया डोलिया?
What you want, Pooks? The way you shout, the neighbors will think we're fighting. And you know how Ruby likes to see us fighting. What you want now, Pukna?
No, darling, I was watching TV and I was thinking about my Nana.
Nice to think.
And I wanted to tell you about him, Dolia.
Okay, but first, darling, does this dress make me look fat, Pukna?
Never, darling, never, Dolia. That dress doesn't make you look fat, eh? You make the dress look fat. Convey one sari now. Stop this dress nonsense.
Okay.
60-year-old woman, you almost now you wear sari.
Okay,
and you want to wear dress.
But Pugna, it's going to be a little awkward to go jogging in my sari. now tell me quickly about your Nana.
You see, Duria, from the time I knew my Nana died now, right? From the time I knew my Nana, I thought he was a hunchback. Right, now everyone in the family thought that my Nana was hunchback. Until one day somebody told him, Nana, you can adjust your braces.
That's where you got your intelligence books.
Darling?
Huh? No, don't trouble me. I'm going jogging now.
You're going jogging, darling?
Huh?
Yeah, it's lovely tackies you got under the sari.
Can I kiss quickly? I'm going jogging. Ma. I got wheezing.
We sought an explanation. Who was Mad Madan? He was told that Mad Madan was an old farmer from Cottonlands who lived in the hills across the Umshloti River and only came to town once or twice a year in his car, which he parked on the other side of the Umshloti River. And since there was no bridge, he had to get onto his horse and cross the stream. However, Madan was the most dangerous guy they'd ever heard of, and few had ever encountered him and lived to tell the tale. Freddy listened carefully and then promptly forgot all about it. Until one day, a few months later, just about sunrise, a strong wind blew through the town of Verulam. The howling urumbus from the nearby sugar farms were heard screeching. And the little boy came running through the town at full speed, shouting,
You stay here! You stay here till I'm done! Mad Madan is coming! Everybody, Mad Madan is coming! Head for the hills! Head for the hills! Head for the hills! Run to the Umshloti River! Run in the Umshloti River!
The result was incredible. Everyone in the town immediately jumped onto the donkeys and their horses and took off for the hills. There were cries of desperation and fear. Except for Freddy. Freddy decided to stay.
I will stay.
He wanted to see this guy because he didn't believe that Mad Madan could be all that tough. So Freddy just put the bottle of cane on the bar. He opened the bottle. He opened a 2-liter Coke. And he hid behind the counter and waited as the clock ticked by. The winds howled through the narrow streets of Verulam. The dogs howled the approach of Mad Madan. And Freddy didn't have long to wait because soon there was a noise in the streets. And as Freddy looked out through a hole in the wall, he saw this huge, mean-looking guy right down the center of the road on the biggest bull that Freddy had ever seen. The guy stopped the bull in front of the bar. He jumped off the bull. He punched the bull in the head. He dropped the animal to its knees. And he shouted at the bull, "You wait here till I get back." He turned and walked up the steps, heavy steps. And Freddy saw that the guy had a pair of huge udumbus on leashes. And he tied the two udumbus to a post. "You wait here." And he kicked his udumbus. He shouted, "You stay here till I'm done." And the reptiles fearfully sat down. Into the bar stormed a mad fellow. He ripped the doors off the walls as he passed. And with 2 strides he approached the bar and picked up the bottle of cane. He threw the bottle of Coke onto the floor. And he gulped the bottle of cane in one huge gulp. Poor Freddy was petrified. He was hiding behind the counter and he was whimpering. And the guy looked over the counter and roared at Freddy. "What the hell do you think you're looking at?"
Nothing, mister. Do you want another bottle of cane?
No! I don't have the time. I gotta get out of here. I gotta run because I hear Mad Mother is on his way.
Dolia? Hey, Dolia. Dolia? Dolia? Where are you, Dolia? Hey, Dolia.
Tu
kahan pe mar gaya, Dolia?
I'm busy exercising on the rowing machine, Pukna.
Eh?
You keep telling me I'm too fat. So I'm doing exercise every morning on the rowing machine.
But Dolia, that is so good news. It's good you're rowing. But tell me one thing, Dolia.
I'm on the rowing machine.
You're on the rowing machine, darling. But why are you wearing life jacket then?
Oh, that's why it's so hard to move my hands. Hey, you're such a genius. What do you want, Pukna?
Darling, yesterday you had that trouble with the car. How much that tow truck man charged for towing your car yesterday?
Oh, he charged 300 Rand, Pukna. Can you believe it, right? Only 12 kilometers. 300 Rand they charged.
300 Rand? Hey, Malik, Dolia, so much there roads, man.
But you're right, folks. But when he told me 300 Rand,
right.
I said I'll teach him a lesson. I'll show him a point.
How you did that, darling?
I kept my brakes on all the time. It took them so long to tow me. I'm so clever, isn't Pukna? I showed them a point.
Yeah, darling, you showed him a point. Now it's going to cost me 2,000 Rand to fix the tires and the brakes. You the star, Dolia.
Hey, Malik.
No, you don't know worry about the car, Dolia. You put life jacket, you put swimming costume too, and go in the towing machine. Towing rowing machine.
Have a super week, everybody. We'll be back.
सबकी निगाहों में धोखा है सबकी निगाहों में धोखा है दिल ने मेरे मुझे रोका है दिल देने वाले देखे देखा नहीं है कोई जो देने वाला दिल देने वाले देखे देखा नहीं है कोई जो देने वाला निगाहें सब देखे आदाएं सब देखे ना कोई मेरा शर्माना मैं कुड़ी अनजानी हो शहर अनजाना हो कहाँ मैं चली आई हो मुझे जाने दो जाने दो हे आंखें चुरा के मुझे जाने दो दामन बचा के मुझे जाने दो वो प्यार करने वाले जमाने से निराले बाकी तो सारे रंग रूप के शिकारी हाय रे वो प्यार